He has more population in his fucking stream right now than the population of some countries. That is the numbers that we're talking about right now. It is absolutely phenomenal. To put this into perspective, this guy right now is over 40% of Twitch's audience, like 30% of Twitch's total audience. And he's breaking the entire website, including the API calls. It's absolutely historical. It's insane. 6.4 million people on the website. Yeah, Greg is accounting for 33.58% of the total audience on Twitch. That is fucking insane. Jesus. How many of these viewers do you think will continue to watch Twitch? Historically, the conversion has not been that great. It's like sub 1%. It also depends on the type of audience. I think it'll actually be higher here because, here, you guys ready to learn business? That's what we're here to do. Look at the picture. You will see. This is called the marketing adoption curve, okay? People that adopt products start from left to right. These are old fogies like me. People that don't like change and it scares them. We don't like to try things, okay? Because the older you get, the less you'll want to try. You don't know what's cool anymore, and you think you might fuck up, so you don't try shit. Over here, this is a bunch of you Zoomers, okay? You'll try anything new because your lives are so vapid and boring that you want the next best thing, and you have no substance or purpose. So you'll try things very fast. That's innovators. Early adopters, and then over here is a very important thing called the chasm. The chasm is a place where it is very, very hard to get people from this side over to here, which is like the normal population that uses shit like YouTube or Instagram. And Twitch has been stuck over here for like 8 years, and they can't cross this chasm. But occasionally, something happens where they do cross that chasm. So Ninja and Drake, for example, the chasm was too heavy for a lot of people to actually go back. Like, if you're a Drake fan, you may not want to like watch video games for various reasons, because maybe it's just not your demo. But this duder, I think, is going to have a higher conversion because pretty much everybody that's watching him is from Fortnite. Also, this is actually something we could talk about a shitload, which is Twitch is a platform that caters to heavy users. What do you mean? Heavy user is average watch time of one viewer on Twitch for streams daily is 102 minutes. This is very long. By comparison, Super Bowl, biggest event of America, 54 minutes. So the average user on Twitch watches someone longer than the average person does watching the Super Bowl, which is the biggest event in America. What does that mean? It means that people that use this website are really, really fucking hardcore. And hardcore people are less in number, but more devoted. That is why Twitch is like kind of a niche platform, which I've talked about in other discussions and bears no need to be repeated here. But suffice to say, what it means is converting users to Twitch is very difficult. And most people in the heavy power user demographic have either already been exposed to Twitch or are already converted. So there actually isn't that much of a vertical, that is to say, a amount of people that could potentially come in from the United States, Europe, etc. There are some. There are people that can still, like, obviously there are people in America that have not heard of Twitch within that demographic. And there is still a growth metric there. But it is very small compared to someone like Greg or eBay, who can run this thing through Spain, and then pretty much everyone in Spain or Brazil or South America goes, what? What is this? And then there's a huge, huge, huge uptick of users. So for that reason, I think that this is actually going to bring a lot of people into the website, and it's going to further cement people like Greg on the website. As far as I'm concerned, this is not going away. We saw this, and like I have a graph here. I'll show you. This is a graph, not this. This is a graph of every top stream on Twitch categorized by an algorithm into where they are in relationship to other streamers. So over here, you have the goblins. Right next to the goblin, the king of all goblins, is my boy Tyler. Sub-goblin, goblin, smaller goblins. Okay? This is known as sort of the IRL. I also am here. They forgot to put my name on here, it turns out. I should have actually been bigger than XQC, but I don't know. You know, that's just a very dumb algorithm. Can't get everything right. But that's besides the point. The thing that we want to look at that is actually relevant to this is this cloud over here. Because you see the connections here, very loose, which is that to say that most people in the goblin crowd probably haven't gone all the way over here. But this right here, eBay, Aron Plays. There's Greg right there, Rubius, and Juan. All these guys are the sort of like foreign language Spanish streams. What you don't see also is Russians. They're in the Dota place. This is Russia right here. And Germany's somewhere. Here's the weird Minecrafters. And somewhere is Germany, where there's some pretty prominent German streamers. Point being, look at how significant the Spanish audience is, okay? And what I want to make clear is that this has the highest vertical for people to grow on Twitch because of the aforementioned, that's a really cool word, because of the thing I mentioned before about marketing adoption curves. Because the saturation in Twitch of American streams is very, very, very high. And there isn't much more room to go in terms of, and like, that is to say that, like, we see, like, XQC, as of the time of this talk, is pretty regularly breaking, like, 100K on Rust, which is insane for a purely English-speaking stream. But it's just not even in comparison to, like, if, like, Brazil gets serious, what they can put up, you know? And that's what we're going to see. Like, the kind of creator, statistically, that someone like Ebai is compared to XQC. And it's just, it's so interesting, right? That, like, people don't see it. Because if you look at the graph, you'll see why. This is a really good idea of, like, why people don't understand it. If all you do is you live over here, most of the people in this audience, people that are watching this right now, you live over here. You watch Moon, you watch XQC, Soda, you know of these streamers. Livestream Fail covers these streamers that you know about. Asmongold, like, and his break that he's taking from streaming. This is the news you consume. This is the world that you consume. You're in this bubble and you may not even realize it. But these guys are the real players that are coming up. This guy is putting up numbers in the last 30 days, 84,000 average viewers. But here's the real interesting thing when we compare him to XQC. So on average, Ebai has more viewers in the last 30 days than XQC does. XQC is going to surpass him on Rust. But what do you guys see that's really interesting about these numbers? Ebai is putting up similar numbers in less than half the time. 128 hours streamed versus XQC's 330. In addition, this isn't true because the follower gain can't be trusted. It's bots. Bots are a huge problem. In addition, his peak viewership is absolutely insane. He has 500,000 peak viewership versus XQC's 158. So that means that Spanish broadcasters can run event-based streams and they can absolutely destroy based on these numbers. So Aaron Plays is another really huge, prominent Spanish broadcaster. And look at the numbers that he's putting up. Now look at the hours he streams. 125,000 average viewers, 76 hours broadcasted. My man, XQC, is literally drinking like 4 monsters a minute to keep up with this absolutely absurd stream schedule. This guy is actually streaming 11 hours a day, 7 days a week, no break. Meanwhile, the true Jedi Master is streaming less than a fifth of that time, and he's putting up higher numbers. This is the power of the Spanish audience. This is also the power of, what are we going to do? Where's he going to go next? What's the next talk about? It's the Devin Nash special. You've heard it here first. XQCOW, 1.32 million YouTube followers. Nice brand, man. Let me just go over here. Oh, weird. He's 25 times bigger on YouTube, and he's putting up less numbers for literally a fifth of the work. Why? Because it's a better platform for discovery. Thank you. That's right. This is nuts. These stats are crazy. If you look at it from the perspective of the channels, it's crazy. Look at the most watched channels in the last 30 days. Let's go. Ebai, games done quick, doesn't even count. Aron Plays 2, Gauls 3. Think this guy might be foreign. Hassan Ami might as well be. He speaks Turkish. We'll count him. He goes in. Rubius foreign. Greg foreign also. Juan foreign too. Literally in the top 20, about 30% of the people are, sorry, I can't use the word foreign. You don't like that. 40% of the top 10 streamers on Twitch are alternate language streamers. Additional language streamers, okay? And it's much easier to onboard users from countries like Brazil and South America than it is in English-speaking countries for lots of reasons. So this is cool. This is not the last you're going to see of this. In fact, you are probably going to see this get a lot more. Now, look at that, man. Now his viewership's down 694,000. That's the power of hype. What we saw, yes, it was the power of word of mouth or virality, but it's actually more important than that. It is the potential for the Spanish-speaking audience. That's what's there. That's who's waiting. That's the marketing concept that I call passive audience. I made this. Passive audience is the audience that awaits you to create an event. If right now I pull 5, 10 out of 10 girls, go into a hot tub and launch a rocket ship to Mars and attach my car to it with a remote control, I get 10,000 viewers right now. Right now. You just come in. That's the potential. Always, right? Because if you have enough saturation, passive audience begets that you get a certain number of viewers. This is the passive audience potential in South America, in Brazil, in Spain. It's insane. It's actually so much higher than the passive audience potential in America. Even, I hate to say it because I am the largest YouTube simp, but even compared to YouTube, this is impressive. YouTube got 8 million viewers on a Red Bull event. And I think Laser Beast, I think this is his name, Laser Bean, hit 800K. A couple other people went over 1 million, but 2.5 in the context of live streaming is incredible for an individual person sitting in a red suit with poofy hair talking about his Fortnite skin, which he undoubtedly made millions of dollars as we speak from that. Really crazy. Oh, somebody apparently just showed us how many it is. 269,000 people used the code. Does anyone want to do the math on that real quick on how much money that is? People are saying 215,000. That's actually a lot less than I thought. But skin isn't out, people are saying. That's also assuming that he doesn't have a special split for this, which is probably unlikely. I'd assume his percentage is higher. Let's call it $500,000. But anyway, back to foreign language streamers. 3 months ago, I first saw this when I was looking through these charts and I was sorting by various things. You can see most watched. You can also sort by viewer distribution. That's too complicated for chat. Hang on. Let me find something else that's interesting. You can look at peak viewers, and now the chart looks really different. Let's look at the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, 60% of the people that are getting peak viewership on the platform are alternative, different foreign language, non-English streamers. So what that shows you is that the potential for broadcasters within the non-English section is really, really high. And that's super cool. So we're going to be seeing more of this. How many months ago was it that I said that the best growth vertical on Twitch right now was being able to bilingually speak English and Spanish and stream in Spanish primetime hours? It was like 3 or 4 months ago that I started telling people to do that. This is the reason. Because here's one last point about this that I think is cool. The way that viewership works on Twitch is a trickle-down effect. Usually, people will be introduced to Twitch via big streamers. You talk to, like, most people, they started watching Twitch via a pretty large streamer, like 10K or more. And then over time, as they become what we call more endemic means that they use the website more natively, they move to smaller streamers. So, for example, you might start watching Twitch through someone like Tim the Tatman or XQC, and that'll be your first exposure. And then you probably realize that you want to like watch some other content, or you start to like use the website. And then you start going to smaller broadcasts via collaborations or references, or mostly collaborations now. There's a whole collaboration meta on Twitch, which I need to do a whole separate talk about. But basically, the entire way that Twitch works, because Twitch has no discovery itself, is any discovery that does happen is usually a trickle-down effect from larger streamers. So what'll happen is people that are getting started, well, it's really 2 or 3 months ago, but getting started now will benefit from events like what just happened with Greg, because those 2 million viewers that just came in, you know, assuming like a 1 to 3% conversion, will start on his channel, and then they'll probably hop over to eBay, they'll probably hop over to Aron, they'll probably stay within that kind of like sphere, but then they'll gradually start to move more towards smaller non-English speaking streams that they identify with and different games that they identify with. And that rising tide will lift all of the boats of the platform in the Spanish speaking category. The same thing isn't as possible it is happening in English, but the problem is that English is so saturated. There's so many people doing it. So that trickle down effect is almost non-existent. So all the people that are memeing about learning Spanish to stream, that's it's not a bad idea, especially if you're kind of like a mid-tier broadcaster and you're just like, I mean, obviously you can't like take like 4 years to learn Spanish, but I'm saying like if you're a broadcaster within the realm of 1 to 5,000 viewers and you want to, and you're Spanish speaking, you change your stream right now to you literally in your title, you do this. Like no meme. You put bracket like that. That's all you do. And then you answer stuff in Spanish and you answer stuff in English. Absolutely best play. 100%. Or I guess, I don't know, is that the proper, is it this? Espanol? This one, ELV, stands for Elvish. Elvish has the highest growth vertical on Twitch, and you will become a god. What would be prime time if you're bilingual? The absolute best time to stream on Twitch is 6 a.m. PST to 12 p.m. PST. That will always be the case. Reason is, because broadcasters are lazy and they don't wake up on time to run morning streams. But people who have real jobs do wake up and they want to watch something at their real job so they don't have to do real work. Therefore, it will always be preferable to run a stream in the morning because you're beating the lazy streamers. If you recall, Moon started streaming very early in the morning for like 2 years, and he had 2 totally different audiences. He started both streams at 10 or 7, and he started at 7 and went 4 hours, went to sleep, and then did another 4 or 5 or 6 hour stream, and did that for years. That was because he was, and you know what? Moon during that time, fascinating actually, had the highest amount of tier 3 subs at the time, and one of the highest, if not the highest, tier 2 and tier 1 subs. The reason was because he was operating under 2 totally different groups of subs. If you stream 2 totally separate groups at a time, you will get 2 totally different types of subs. That is how significant time zones are. So obviously, the solution is just do crack and don't ever stop streaming. Do we know anybody like that? I don't know anybody like that. But if we did know anybody like that, that'd be what they'd do. Or screw all that, work smart, not hard, and do freaking YouTube. And then stream 75 hours, get 125,000 average viewers on top of your freaking 26 million person YouTube channel, and laugh your way all the way to the bank, which is the plan that I recommend. And that's my talk on non-English speaking streamers. They're here to stay. They're really going to grow. And I believe that there will be a comparable amount within the next 1 to 2 years of non-English speaking people on the platform as there is English speaking people. But likely we will never see it because of the way that recommendation systems work and because of the way that this really cool graph, which I'll link, is set up. And this also, by the way, just real quick, because I think this is cool. This is how news works. So let's say that you only follow like a certain type of news. You'll be in a bubble here without actually realizing it. Same thing over here. This Spanish like group of people don't like really 100% understand like this ecosystem either in the same way. They think that eBay is like the best, like biggest, that's the XQC. They might have heard of XQC, just like people might have heard of eBay, but it's really different. The takeaway from this is that you should always be self-aware of what bubbles you're in, because there's all kinds of like alternate worlds going on. This is a problem with LSF, for example. LSF, like basically the live stream fail, which is like the Reddit that most people think is like the pulse of Twitch, right? First of all, only has 1 million subs.